President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un abruptly cut short their two-day summit Thursday after they failed to reach an agreement to dismantle Pyongyang's nuclear weapons. Talks collapsed unexpectedly amid a disagreement over economic sanctions, with the two leaders and their delegations departing their meeting site in Vietnam's capital without sitting for a planned lunch or participating in a scheduled signing ceremony. Kim said he was prepared in principle to denuclearize, and Trump said an agreement was ready to sign. But Trump said the main impediment to a deal was Kim's requirement that the United States lift all economic sanctions on North Korea in exchange for the closure of only one North Korean nuclear facility, which still would have left Pyongyang with a large arsenal of missiles and warheads. We had some options, but at this time we decided not to do any of the options, Trump said. He added, "Sometimes you have to walk. And this was just one of those times." For Trump, the surprising turn of events amounted to a diplomatic failure. The president flew 20 hours to Vietnam with hopes of producing demonstrable progress toward North Korea's denuclearization, building upon his first summit meeting with Kim last summer in Singapore. The breakdown sent shivers through financial markets in Asia, with South Korea's stock market falling sharply just before the close of trading to end down 1.8%. The South Korean won also slipped, and Japan's main Nikkei 225 share index ended down 0.8%. At a news conference before he departed Vietnam to return to Washington, Trump said he and Kim did not commit to holding a third summit. Still, he said he and Kim parted ways on positive terms. This wasn't a walkaway like you get up and walk out, Trump told reporters. "No, this was very friendly. We shook hands. There's a warmth that we have, and I hope that stays. I think it will. But we're positioned to do something very special." Trump said Kim promised he would not conduct missile launches or test nuclear weapons. And he said Kim was willing to close the Yongbyon Nuclear Research Complex, the site of North Korea's main nuclear reactor and its only source of plutonium to make bombs. But Trump said other covert facilities to enrich uranium had not been offered up. Trump zeroed in on sanctions as the key sticking point in his talks with Kim. It was about the sanctions, he said. Basically, they wanted the sanctions lifted in their entirety, and we couldn't do that. They were willing to denuke a large portion of the areas that we wanted, but we couldn't give up all of the sanctions for that. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said he hoped negotiators from the two countries could narrow differences in the future, but he did not announce any firm plans to continue talking. "We were certainly closer today than 36 hours ago, and we're closer than we were a month or two before that. So real progress was made," he said. "I think everybody hoped we could do this better, but the departure was with an agreement. We continued to work on what has been an incredibly difficult problem. Everyone walked away in that spirit." It was clear that the two sides remained far apart on some key issues, including a pretty fundamental one: what denuclearization of the Korean peninsula actually means. It is still not clear what demands Kim would place on U.S. forces in South Korea and in the region for him to be willing to surrender his nuclear arsenal. "He has a certain vision," Trump said. "It's not exactly our vision, but it's a lot closer than it was a year ago." In the run-up to the talks, The United States had been offering to declare an end to the 1950-53 Korean War, open liaison offices in each other's capitals, and had been demanding North Korea at least agree to close down its production of fissile material to make bombs. The United States appeared willing to offer some mild sanctions relief in return for such a deal, but insisted that sanctions imposed by the UN Security Council had to stay intact until North Korea fully denuclearizes. But it was clear the North Korean counteroffer left a large gap between the two sides. Still, following 2 days of meetings with Kim at the lavish Metropole Hotel in downtown Hanoi, Trump continued to praise Kim. He called him a great leader and boasted about the warmth of their friendship. Trump did not address Kim's record of brutality and human rights atrocities during his Vietnam trip. Asked by a reporter whether he had discussed with Kim the case of Otto Warmbier, the University of Virginia student who was detained in North Korea for 17 months for allegedly stealing a propaganda poster, Trump said he had. Warmbier was in a coma through most of his imprisonment and died shortly after being sent home. Kim rules of totalitarian state, and his government has insisted that Warmbier was nothing but a criminal. Yet Trump said Kim denied to him any knowledge of or rolled in his treatment. He tells me that he didn't know about it, and I will take him at his word, Trump said. Those prisons are rough. They're rough places, and bad things happen. But I don't believe he knew about it. Analysts have said Trump's strategy of engaging Kim was risky, given that U.S. intelligence officials have said the North Korean leader is unlikely to surrender an arsenal that is thought to include anywhere between 20 and 65 nuclear warheads. Although Trump has pointed to a moratorium on testing that has been in place since November 2017, U.S. intelligence has discovered evidence that the North has sought to conceal its weapons programs despite publicly engaging with the United States and South Korea in denuclearization talks. Administration officials, led by the State Department, had worked over the past 2 weeks to try to nail down specific commitments from Pyongyang to advance the process, but progress has been slow, according to U.S. and South Korean officials familiar with the talks. Sitting beside Kim on Thursday morning, Trump said the pair had enjoyed very good discussions over dinner the night before, with a lot of great ideas being thrown about. He added that importantly, I think the relationship is, just very strong. And when you have a good relationship, a lot of good things happen. So, I can't speak necessarily for today, but I can say this, that a little bit longer term, and over a period of time, I know we're going to have a fantastic success with respect to Chairman Kim in North Korea. Trump repeatedly stressed there was no rush to make a deal. Chairman Kim and myself, we want to do the right deal. Speed is not important, he said. And Kim said he was ready to denuclearize, at least in principle. If I'm not willing to do that, I wouldn't be here right now, he said through an interpreter.